Welcome back to Retro Rewind. I was going to say welcome to Retro Rewind because this is kind of the start of a new thing, but I've already done this segment before. If you guys saw my Toonami Retro Rewind, I enjoyed it so much, and it was one of my favorite videos to ever work on. And I hope you guys watched my channel update video that I posted last week, because that kind of explains what's going on here, so you guys can really know what's happening. But in case you missed that video, I'm going to be doing these Retro Rewinds every other week, along with Hilariosities every single Sunday. 2 Hilariosities a month, 2 Retro Rewinds a month. And it's basically just my excuse to talk about something from my past that infected. And it's basically just my excuse to talk about something from my past that had a good impact on me, or maybe a terrible impact. Anything, really. It's just a whatever video 2 times a month. And this week, we're going to be talking about Tremors. Tremors is something that is kind of personal to me in a strange way. The movie is tons of fun. I really love the first Tremors movie. I love the simplicity of it. I love that it's just such a simple movie. I think sometimes movies like this try to overthink themselves way too much, and I think a lot of first-time screenwriters also think that they have to bust onto the scene with this insane screenplay that's just like mind-boggling, like 2001 A Space Odyssey or Inception or something that just blows everyone away. But you can actually make a really good film on an extremely simple idea. And with Tremors, we have some worms under the ground. They don't like people. And, you know, everyone's gonna die. And Kevin Bacon. It's such a simple idea. It's such a basic idea, but it works because the film itself is extremely fun and relentlessly paced. It's also a very funny movie. In a way, it's a horror comedy. And usually those two genres, they're rarely ever mixed. Either your film is a horror film that's so bad it's hilarious, or they were trying to make it scary and it just didn't work out, so you're sitting there laughing. Or it could be like Evil Dead 2, a film that really understands those two genres being meshed together. And with Tremors, they got it. I love this movie. It is so much fun. Now, why is it special to me, besides the fact that when I was a kid, I loved all the Tremors movies. I mean, literally all of them. And the TV show. A lot of people actually don't remember there is a Tremors TV show. Short-lived, but not a terrible show. Well, my experience with Tremors was essentially this. My friends and I, when we were very young, like elementary school age, had this game we played at playgrounds. And we called it Tremors. Now, one person was the tremor, and everyone else were the humans. And the only safe place would be on high ground. So if you could get on top of like a brick structure or a jungle gym, you'd be safe. But if the tremor touches you, you're dead. And whoever is the last human standing essentially wins. And my friends and I played that all the time. And the funny part of this story is I actually didn't know what it was for, because I hadn't seen Tremors yet, because we were like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years old, and I hadn't yet seen Tremors until I was probably about 10, and so I was like, what is this? This game is cool, I like it. And then one day I watched Tremors, and I was just like, oh, everything makes sense now. So the first film has always had a special place to me in my heart, and I just rewatched it last night, and I think it's a ton of fun still as an adult. It really works as a horror comedy, a really fun monster movie. There's no explanation given for why these things they come to call graboids are underneath the ground. They even specifically say, who cares where they come from, we just have to figure out how to survive. And that's what I love about this screenplay. The screenplay wasn't like, well, you know, we have to explain everything. Here's a whole bunch of exposition. It was just, oh crap. There's some man-eating worms burrowing under the ground, and how do we get away from them? And I'm not going to sit here and talk like Tremors is a classic or anything, even though it is. I know there isn't much to Tremors, but should there be? I mean, it's a movie about killer worms with Kevin Bacon, Fred Ward, and Michael Gross, fresh off of Family Ties, shooting up everything. And it's funny because Michael Gross kind of became the star of the series. He was in every single film after that, even the most recent Tremors 5, which was not good, as well as the TV show. He just kept coming back for more, and he became his own little monster movie star in his own right, which is funny because when you watch a show like Family Ties, you don't expect this guy to become like the badass of a monster movie franchise, but he did. As for the sequels, 3 and 4, and especially 5, they're okay, I guess. 5 is like, no. But 2 is not the greatest, but I still have a lot of fun with it. 2 is actually more nostalgic for me than the first one is. 2 was the first one where they could walk around on land, and there's that amazing shot with that giant gun that just blows up the one Tremor's head. And it's funny because when I was doing some research for this movie, I came across this trivia on IMDb where S.S. Wilson, the creator of this whole Tremors thing, talked about how when he was in the military or whatever, he was sitting on a rock and he thought, wouldn't it be strange if something was keeping me on this rock and I couldn't get off this rock? Because I would die if I did. And it's just so funny that a guy sitting somewhere on a rock came up with an idea, made a successful franchise out of it, and some elementary schoolers in the 90s came up with a playground idea for a game. And it's just, that's how shit works. It's crazy. It's nuts. It's total guilty pleasure fun. And that's one of the biggest reasons I wanted to restart this Retro Rewind segment, because I wanted to talk about films that weren't just hilariosities from my childhood. Films that maybe aren't the greatest, but they're certainly not bad. They're just awesome and fun. And Tremors is definitely one of those movies. If you've never seen it, give it a watch. It is a damn good time. And Kevin Bacon's in it. And that's always a plus. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this installment of Retro Rewind. My upcoming hilariosity next Sunday is going to be for Supergirl. And in that video, I will tell you what my next Retro Rewind will be. And that's how I'm going to do it. It'll be my fun little Sunday thing for you guys. Going back and forth between those two segments. And it's a good way to have more variety on my channel and talk about more than just everything you always hear me talking about. And kind of change up the pace a little bit. Thank you guys so much, as always, for watching. And if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.